Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Manichean series of Crusader Kings 3 here on the Lord Master channel. You know, after I was on a little bit of a hiatus myself doing other things that I've been doing, which I felt, well, now I've been getting calls to come back to this series, and we'll continue on this little journey of this small dynasty that we're part of, ruling the Uyghur Khanate, or the Uyghur Okolundiji, which I don't know if that's a correct pronunciation in the Turkic or Uyghur language. But I am still Khatun Sati, or since we did a hybrid culture in the last episode, we formed a hybrid culture between the Uyghurs and the Khatani Saka, so now referred to as the Uyghurlar Vamna. So I am Rina Sati, which again I don't know how to correctly pronounce that from the Khatani Saka language. Rinyan Rina, which obviously that could mean in translation the Queen of Queens, you know, similar to King of Kings over in the Iranian cultures, but still referred by the nickname Jingu Katyan. I mean, after all, the official title and its nickname here does show a merger of these two cultures that we formed together. Which, to reiterate, we formed it here, and we're not. I mean, there is a bit of that up there. I mean, it's still a newfangled, newly formed culture, but forming that culture also made me feel like I kind of shot myself in the foot for the modern term. Because look at a culture head. It's the nomad with the herd, not me. Which means the cultural fascination progress will be very slow, even though we have bureaucratic. Like, it kind of makes me want to diverge the culture, but it's not going to be till the, just at the beginning of the High Medieval era, where I'll diverge the culture and make sure that he's not under my vassalage, and I have to form it on my own here. But anyways, we picked these traditions, which was largely retained from the Uyghur culture. People of the Silk Road, scribes of steppe, xenophilic, religious patronage, dryland dwellers. The only thing we took from the Vamna is frontier warriors, which you can recruit the heavy cavalry Tarkans, which, matter of fact, is one of the most powerful men in arms in the game, as far as we know. And we're currently recruiting the new siege weapons we finally got, and as well as heavy cavalry. When fully reinforced, we will resume our territorial conquests, which we can skip over these and go straight into Transoxiana, dealing with the nomads, make our way through Samarkand, and maybe, who knows, keep on going, because, you know, faster wars, that we could just keep on going all the way up to Mesopotamia. I mean, I'm pretty healthy myself, as I'm feeling fine. That's something I tend to do, just snake our way into, you know, Mesopotamia as much as we can, because there's this, you know, decision to revive Mani's teachings in Mesopotamia in the far future, which you have to have at least 4 duchies under that control. I'll bring it up again. So Samara, Baghdad, Basra, Basra. That would be the most ideal for me. Like if you wish to take parts of Mesopotamia, that they tell you to, again, reiterate. And also you got to own the county of Kufa. Because Kufa, over here, within, okay, it has to be in there. Al-Kufa. That is where ancient Babylon was long ago. Hilla in particular. Yeah, this was where Babylon was long ago. Zanj. I was wondering, why is it called Pagan? Ah, Bashkot. That's Bashkuri. Migrated all the way over there. Well, brought them there. But nevertheless, that's something we may have to do. Trying to make a mad dash, you know, to go through Transoxiana, Khorasan, Persia, and into Mesopotamia. It would be an effort, but also you risk, danger of, distance due to your Khanate being based in Khotan, and trying to get from one place to another would be a challenge in itself. If you want to, get that decision, which would feel like, honestly, that kind of feels like for any Manichean ruler, feels like that's the last major goal that would be relevant for the Manichean series. Because I was thinking about the future of the series, that, once we did that, as well as control the whole of Mesopotamia, I mean, the other alternative is, at some point, like, who knows? I mean, it doesn't have to be, from this country. It could be any Manichean entity out there that has control of most of Mesopotamia to form that and to restore those Manichean teachers in Mesopotamia. So you could say anyone could do it, either if I'm, the Empress, or even a Manichean landless adventurer that happens to conquer this area and expand. If this whole, territorial expansion is too much for me. But I'm willing to expand into Transoxiana as I wish to go to Samarkand. Because I would like to do that decision. Establish a church at Samarkand. But in the meantime, let's hold the court simply for the sake of it. After all, you want to keep the court grandeur up. Shabanagvada, my vassal, strides forward, clearly eager to hear my response to his petition. My liege, Kasha is among the greatest houses of the Oiga Hokonlingjing. Kushka council should always be heard by the Rina. Excluding the most qualified and prominent followers only serves to sow division and mistrust. We cook on them. Council rights. Oh, that thing's gonna expire, so there's no reason to do that. Is it not enough to be the Shabanok? Oh, Sati, I'm Kopti, a child far to ask her aid in fighting a great injustice. A man in front of me bows deep before continuing with his well-rehearsed plea. Beg Kolbiak of the Sayan Kimekla currently sits on the throne of Sayan Kimekla. I am the true rightful ruler of these lands. If you aid me in pressing my claim, I shall swear fealty to you and serve you loyalty to the end of my days. Aren't they the rulers of the No, that's somewhere else. No, sorry, I cannot help you, but please enjoy my hospitality. I'm not going to scrounge come down at Chika. Where is my throne? Liege, I have a right to the Pata of Vamna, no matter what anyone else might say. Where Lancashire does not belong to you in support of my claim? That's my capital. You nuts. My claim is the truer. Didn't have to spend any prestige or legitimacy or anything like that. But in the meantime, let's wait a couple months till everything's fully reinforced, and then we will, send them loose. Put it here. If we had room, I would so love to build, I recall there's another structure. No. I don't think that's available yet. I believe that's a later innovation. You may want to have that looked at. What is that building called? Yeah, I knew it. It's shooting ranges. That's a high medieval thing. But anyways, so we're gonna wait for several months so everything's fully reinforced while we make some wealth along the way, and then we are ready for conquests. And in the meantime, I've switched to internal affairs focus as I like to gain inspection for domain taxes and to gain access to that little activity that would help benefit these lands that I personally own in my domain. Even if I have to go all the way up to Tucson Culture to make it more grander. Oh, speaking of which, I just remembered. There is room to help you out on these, but obviously everything needs more money. And do not forget, in 3 months' time we get to have a grand temple, which means anybody that wishes to travel to the university, you can do them right here, instead of painstakingly travel through drylands and mountains to head to a place of learning. But at least whenever I pass, my successors will have increased legitimacy gain and piety gain for holding a funeral here. And this holding will give us a lot more tax, and the county even more holding taxes, development growth, piety, renown, different faith opinion of control, and different faith popular opinion around here would serve us very, very well. My court jester, Praga Uge, has honored me with a visit and has brought one of his courtiers along, who approached me excited. Well met, Taberna Nasati. It pleases me to see you thriving here in Vanna. It occurred to me that Fugal here might be of service in your court. He's an incredibly talented strategist. His mind is always spinning out possible tactics. I would make use of myself, but alas, it doesn't seem possible. I'd hate to see his great talent go to waste. Won't you take him in and unleash his potential? Well, I'm the best general around. But he might be second best. Though he's more of an overseer. But he has no tactics, but yeah, he could join. The day to deliver an inspiring and meaningful speech addressing the past history of my realm. What is our place in the world and what lies ahead for the realm in the future has arrived with much fanfare. Thanks to the promises I've been doing to everyone. Now that I face such daring enterprise, I need to pick from the two of the most important subject matters at present to delve into the intricacies of it all, while keeping everyone enthralled of what I'm about to say. My vassals, courtiers, and even foreign dignitaries all looked expected from my speech. Well, I'm a military one myself, so I'll address warfare details. Success of speech depends on your good and better martial skill. I am of that education. Yes. So, your traits, poet. I'm not a poet, nor am I a cunning politician. And yes, I do have a martial education. Legitimacy and procedure on the line as well as opinions of us courtiers might be pressed at this point depending on importance. Oh, I'll do very well on that. Success. Speech is unmitigated success. You gain legitimacy and prestige. Okay, watch this. It's 18.1 now on the income tax, and watch it jump as Grand Temple's finished. 22.1. Big jump. It's a nomadic hunt, I can't do that. Oh yeah, big jump. Hey, why not have this built as well? Upgrade our defenses. Because you are in a capital that is worth defending. Not fully reinforced yet. The Kimakla. You're always there for me, and I hope you know that I'm grateful. My daughter's son approached me in a rare display of appreciation. Daughter, friend, and ward. Is that how do you say princess in the Courtiers Saka language? When I need it, I expect you to be there for me too. Yeah, adopted her. Remember that because I had no children. So, I have my son Kubasar, who gave birth to twin grandsons of mine. And they're both healthy, which is excellent. I said all I have is my son. In a line of succession, after Kubasar, then Toima will be next. So we do have a future that's secured. But I still raise her as if she were my own. Protector, oh, okay, that's a proper hunt. I'll be willing to do that. And when I return, at least I'll get to visit Grand Temple, which will give me some learning lifestyle experience. That's a bit far to travel, so I need to pick up the pace. We'll try to get there fast. And after the hunt, then we'll go do some conquesting. Do it. Plus, it'll give me some, lifestyle experience of wandering. I wonder how I'm invited. to a different realm. Gallows bait. So you were formerly an adventurer yourself, huh? Yeah. They were adventurous. After all my lectures shared wisdom, my daughter, Saran, finally embraced the true faith. I've always known she would make a good little Manichean one day. The great news guided my hand. She's a Manichean now. Now, if only she would have changed her culture to ours. Like to get her. But mind you, my prowess skill isn't what it used to be. I received word that the scholar Samarkand has completed a writing of the first dictionary of the Turklar languages, called the Compendium of the Languages of the Turks, or Devan Lugat al-Turk in Arabic. Though it is mainly a work of lexicography, it also includes many details about the history, customs, beliefs, poetry, and more of the Turklar peoples. For years, according to them, the Turklar peoples have been judged unfairly as illiterate, inarticulate, and unsophisticated compared to others such as the Arabs and Iranians. He thus hopes that this dictionary will prove once for all that all the Turklar peoples have much to be proud as well in terms of literature and culture. It remains to be seen how much of the impact of this scholarly work has on the rest of the world. As the person who appoints the Samarkand is provided me with a copy of the book I keep in my own library. A thoughtful gift, I must say. You must have worked very hard on this. Well, thank you. He's from Beshbalik. Young man at 17. So again, the Divana Lugat al-Kazakh. The first known comprehensive dictionary of Turkic languages titled Divan Lugat al-Turk, the Compendium of the Languages of the Turks, written by a scholar named Samarkand of Beshbalik, who was inspired to prove the beauty of the Turkic people's speech. Though the Turkic languages are its main focus, it also provides information on the history, geography, culture, and religion of the Turkic peoples, as well as examples of Turkic poetry. That's nice of you. Yeah, it's in the description. Yeah, I never wanted to enact that decision because it's kind of anachronistic, because I would prefer it to be done by a historical character, but since he did it himself and gave a book to me, well then that's nice of you, but I still prefer to have one of these, you know, for times like these. Famed journal. At the foot of the particularly imposing hill fort in Chomarho, a group of children play at warriors, and their laughter a counterpoint of the solemnity of the stone. One child, bold and bright-eyed, approaches with a wooden sword. Halt! No one may pass the fort of Jampo and his charming band. The child exclaims gleefully. Oh wait, are you the Vrina? Brave defenders, tell us the quickest way through these hills. 75% chance that a child will progress by 10 days, getting to the hunt early, and we'll have child scouts to get us there faster. Or we'll be delayed for 5 days. Delayed. Crud. Almost fully reinforced. We'll be ready for war soon. Of the Tarkans. Slowly but surely. Hey, Koza. Thank you for writing that book. As we wait to arrival of the rest guards, Don Pobo Woodden started on the preparations. His gatekeepers check the highlands each time for a while, building a camp close to the hunting grounds. My bird grows restless, waiting, knowing it will soon be unleashed. Oh, it's one of those things. Falconry. Guess I must have misread. I'm no good at that sort of thing. Ziljid assembles the party as the sun rises over the camp in the valleys of Nagoring. With any luck, we'll find a gaggle of geese. Our falcons have great sport. The beaters teams are ready with their hounds, and a well-appointed spot has been selected. You want a goose. My falcon seeds are getting quite agitated on my wrist, tapping and pecking restlessly at me. No doubt, the beast is eager to take the skies once again and bring back first kill. It would be good for the bird to stretch its wings, but I haven't spied a trace of anything worth hunting. It's like my falcon will return empty talon. Fly, my falcon. Brought back a kill. I guess that increased a bit of that rather than the other way. His game master signaled the party to hush as we arrived at the release spot. There was a clear line to a wedge of the grey geese, watering themselves in the pond up ahead. The beaters will soon be in position, ready to spook the game to flight. The party halts as we prepare to remove our birds' hoods and set them one by one to their sport. It's time. This isn't going to end well. Debutantes then watches excited as his falcon identifies his target and takes wing from his watch, soaring high in the air. The beaters have scattered a honking brown geese, who now fill the air with their flapping clamor. It swoops like a bolt of lightning, an audible thunder. The impact reaches us moments later as the quarry falls from the sky. Nicely done. Though 18.3% chance of that success, so did we actually did it, or is it just a little? So, heeding the call of wilds is a veteran. This outing delivered a good and bad in abundance. The falcons had done us proud in their hunt for geese. Huh. So I guess he did get it. Huh. But that's the effects on him. Goose feather, yep. He got it. Lucky you. After all, you're a friend of mine. So I got a bit of falconry, which again does not do me good for health, but instead it gives me some stewardship and learning, as well as some prestige. Because, you know, falcon is more of a nobility thing. You know, with that amount of money, it makes me want to hunt here in Vamna when we get back home. Almost ready. For reference, I want you to put the army in Kashgar, because Fergana is going to be the first place to be conquered, and after Osana, then Samarkand. Because, you know, they almost control nearly all of Sogdia. This is going to be Fergana, Oshrusana, and Sogd. And then make our way to I mean, that's something on. Just anything that would get us closer to Mesopotamia, which is the, you know, possible last major goal for that Manichean series. Because honestly, in later in the month or next month or whenever the next DLC comes out for Crusader Kings 3, which I believe it's the one with the coronations, I kind of want to do the next video series on that. And because I originally, like, my original plan for the after the Manichean series would be, well, do the first one for Asia, East Asia, or Southeast Asia, somewhere of the expanded All Under Heaven DLC. But now I kind of want to, you know, do it at another continent, or somewhere along those lines. I mean, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, and whenever I finish the Manichean series, because I'm kind of excited for, you know, player packs and all that, of which one I would love to do. But anyways, journey through Indana, I passed by a particular looking tent splayed over with its yet more killer looking occupants. Come in, almighty. I don't know what I could tell you. Many miles to go, and I can offer you a reading of your future travels for a modest price. The strange man has piqued the interest of my entourage, but am I willing to pay for a reading? While we make so much good money, tell me my future, wise one. Travel bodes well. Good omens. Today I was going about the vicinity of my castle, and he approached me and asked for a few minutes of my time. As I agreed, I recalled the debt he had towards him, and now it's time to help him in our need. As things stand, what he wants is gold. How much? 200. Alright. Fair enough. After my long tonnage of young Sarah, I was pleased to know when she told me that she considers herself Egalitarian. Indeed, she is. Now look at you, dressed just like us. Meanwhile, as we walk through the streets of Bugawalik, there is a loud ruckus by one of the market stalls with two men yelling at one another. Before we can make our way there, a man has already stepped in between and talked them down. See? It will be fine, he tells a man with a smile, hands up a coin. At that simple act of kind generosity, everything returns to normalcy. He turns to us as we approach, no banner or mark telling me of any liege lord, perhaps a wandering knight. An honorable knight like you should serve a lady like myself. You're in the army now. Come on, get there. We're almost home. Thank the Father of Greatness. And gain a bit of learning experience as well. Again, I'm the greatest of Khans and the Chakravarti. And just remember, it's light cavalry and archer cavalry is what gives you the siege progress. We had to include the Tarkans in our army to do a lot of devastating damage against our foes. I mean, I could increase the size of the pikemen as well to counteract against that cavalry, but we'll do it after the first conquest. Because at least we'll have this. But I wish we have the ability to get horse archers. But you're going to have to get it through them. These veteran steppe warriors. For future reference. Since you're all about development these days, I mean, look at that. 2.2 a month, we can do better. Before we start a war, let's fund the construction of the Qanat. The Qanats are underground systems. Qanats that were built across much of the Middle East for centuries to deliver a reliable source of water to the locals. By funding construction, one can improve the locals' quality of life. My county capital will receive a modifier lasting 10 years, will receive a corresponding modifier, and some prestige if your culture has the irrigation expert's tradition, which we do not. You will gain more prestige and last 15 instead of 10 years if you had that set tradition. For historical context, a Qanat, also known as the Fagara in North Africa, Courtiers in Central Asia, a Falaj in Oman, and many other names, is a system of underground water channels indigenous to the Iranian plateau that is subsequently spread throughout much of the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. For centuries, even today, they were used as a source of water in these regions, whether for drinking, irrigation, cooling, so on. They could range in size from very small efforts initiated by a few peasants to grand public works projects funded by local elites. Let's do it. For centuries, people in the Middle East and North Africa have built and utilized the Qanat waterways to channel water across great distances. It has become custom for people of status like myself to sponsor the construction of such public works projects. I've decided to do just that. Once the Qanat is finished constructing, it will provide a reliable source of water to the community it is built in, whether for agriculture, drinking, washing, or something else. Now I have to consider how much funding I'm willing to provide for this endeavor, and how large of a Qanat I wish to sponsor. So, 50 gold for small, 100 for medium, 150 for large, grand 200 during the prestige. So, construct a grand Qanat plus 1 stewardship, prestige 80, 0.80 a month, poverty opinion 8. And here, holding taxes up and development growth here, poverty opinion up. Do it. I did just that. And I noticed this other one. These Yakchals. Yeah, why not? I should replenish my supply of ice from the local Yakchals to ensure my food and drinks stay fresh. Plus I think I'm due for some sorbet. I mean, we took that innovation from the Saka, that they have the Yakchals, whereas we do not have that. Now, what is that? Yakchals, meaning ice pit, are buildings traditionally used to store ice and snow in Persia. Those simplest Yakchals were storage pits dug into the ground. More complex variations were dome-shaped structures that were built above ground. They were engineered to utilize the physics of evaporative cooling and radiative cooling to maintain low temperature. Yakchals were used frequently by Iranians of all social classes, particularly in more arid climates, well into the 20th century to provide cooled food and drinks such as sorbets and chilled wine. For instance, a 19th century German traveler, Ernst mentioned how even the poor used Yakchal to store water, and people could buy ice in the bazaar straight from a Yakchal. So for historical context, again, Yakchals are buildings traditionally used to store ice and snow for Persia for centuries. Historically, travelers and locals alike would buy ice from the local Yakchals to preserve or make food and drink like sorbet and chilled wine. So yes, you can enact the decision whether if you're an adventurer or landed. So this will give me plus 10 general opinion. Supply duration up, especially when leading armies. Safer travels, and monthly court grandeur up. I paid a visit to the local Yakta to purchase a large supply of ice for my own use. This ice can be used to store food at cooler temperatures to prevent them from spoiling. Alternatively, I could use it to make delicious colder dishes such as sorbet and chilled drinks. There's a lot that I could do with this ice. Thank goodness the local Egalitarian maintained these actuals here. I'll take that ice, thank you. Now, let's begin. 'Cause here's what we're going to do. It's going to have to be Holy War for this county. I ain't scared of who else that they'll be bringing as allies, which are all neighbors anyhow. Yeah, we'll go down there to conquer Samarkand, conquer the whole of Sogdia, and so on. But they say it'll be no cost for a holy war. Let's do it. I have so many tactics. I ain't scared of nothing. Once we bring our men at arms to bear, we ready. That's the reason why I put the rally point at Kashgar. That's just to play it safe. You know what? Give me that personal focus for once. This is just for faster monthly lifestyle experience. Because during the downtime, when we get rid of the offensive war opinion, we should go on inspection. Actually hunt, then inspect. Oh, look at them. Heading this way. It's fort level 4. Wish we would have invested more on the defenses, but oh well. Okay, stop. Let's engage. They say we'll probably win because you are dealing with a very tenacious commander. Well, I do have pretty good fighters of my own. But you're gonna be on my own turf. So I ain't scared. I ain't scared. He's moving fast. Is he an organizer? Master of logistics. He's trained well. Another thing. Prepare armies. Bring every advantage I can get. We could take some attrition along the way, but it's winter now, so I travel fast in the winter. I don't know about you. Engage them there. This is the capital of this chieftain. For level 2. This is a nomadic settlement, not a castle. We can take it with ease. "48 days. 18.3 during wartime, and now 19.3. You can do inspections whenever you wish. Defeating and capturing the leader would do us wonders. Let them go where they want to go. Once they're up in the mountain, we got them surrounded. No escape. We'll take Andichan first. I step out of my tent and rub my eyes as each camp sprawls up before me. A maze of tents and log palisades, standard cutters flap and snap in the wind, leaning against the bare rocks that rise from the earth. Gulls circle above, calling to one another with shrill cries. The work is endless. The earth is a morass of mud and bodies. The air is foul and musty beneath the canopy of tarps that cover the tents. The sweet scent of horses and sweat and leather intermingled with mixtures of dried blood and dried shit that kick our boots and dried cloaks. My lower tier approaches and informs the siege that I got on my bodyguards at the camp. The settlement of Andichan stands for me. A shambles of burnt shell, trebuchets, and catapults litter the field. I watch the refugees scurry among the dying fires of the abandoned homes, their shadowed forms moving along the collapsed walls and teetering lines of leaning chimneys. I'm staring at the doorways, holding on to meager possessions. Grieving widows clutch small children in their bosoms as they flee. Their clothes tattered and torn. And they look at me for direction. Spare it. And imprison everyone you see, including the chiefess. Let's engage them up there. They say we might win. You're not going anywhere, pal. Unfortunately, we no longer have the advantage of the winter. Because I would love to get every single one of them. He has more advantage than I do, but I have more men. And men in arms to counter. Especially when we bring these to bear. So let's see how it goes. This is a big one. Advantage goes to me. We're gonna maul them. Oh, Kozar's been maimed. It's the guy who wrote the dictionary for me. In the fray of the battle, I began to find myself drawn deeper and deeper to the jaws of combat. Swinging my blade with confidence, my men are impressed to see my combat expertise growing with each kill. Though I never intended to be drawn this deep into combat, now I find myself improving with every fighting minute. I'm stronger than I think. Despite my old age, my prowess just got up a bit. Captured one of the headmen. And plus, when we took this place, that was a fort level 5. Now, can you imagine taking a capital very quickly? And this is another nomadic settlement we can take, which will be taken a lot faster. So let's do that. Just take this place, then head straight for the nomadic settlement of Exakaf in Fergana. You should not be leading the front line. Become a strategic commander. "25 days. Executed. 'Cause 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 Starboard head rub nice. He just can't rolls up for me. A cluster of ramshackled shelters surrounded by tumbled walls and sagging ramparts. Flags and banners fly in the damp wind. Bright colors mixing hopelessly in the grey rain. The work is endless. The earth is a morass of mud and bodies. The air is foul and musty beneath the canopy of tarps that cover the tents. The sweet scent of horses and sweat and leather intermingled with the mixtures of blood and dried shit that kick up boots and cloaks. Low retainer poachers and forces sieges. I've got on my bodyguards at the edge of the camp. A settlement of Oskand stands before me. A decayed shell of its former self in the fields between. The dead and dying groan and burn, disfigured by flames. Bodies are strewn everywhere. Shrieks of agony fill the air. Shock survivors stumble through the ruins, pulling children wrapped in blankets, escorting the old. Okay, what little they could salvage. And then look at me for direction. Allow limited looting just this once. Meanwhile, finally a messenger registers to my tent to inform me that the white drapes tumbled over to the walls of the settlement of Oskand. As the gates of the holding swing open, church bells ring out surrender, followed by the appearance of Beg Sechan on horseback with a few of his guardsmen. I know what I'm beaten, he says after dismounting from his horse and kneeling before me. I only ask you that you spare my people. I accept your surrender. And that's another vassal that we have, arrested, and thus leading us to victory, which is largely due to capturing those vassals and even capturing his heir. In fact, are you his heir? Or, yeah, one of his heirs. So we got this land. We got Fagana. Although it should be kept well in mind that some of this area is nomadic government. We can feudalize this holding as it was previously formerly feudal. So we'll turn that to a castle holding. All the others were castle holdings. So we shouldn't have any issues with nomadic agitation. Wrong government type, but he's nomad. You're a reasonable man. Now, how much was it of the offensive war opinion? Not very much. It was a quick war. Is that so? Yeah, it was a quick war. Now it'll be even quicker when we... Well... You are intervening in someone else's war. And another one's a tributary war. Fergana is a great place because, farmlands and all that, ripe for development. cannot usurp because you don't have the money for it. Ah, that's alright. And also I would like to give this man. I wish you could tell him to, hey, be feudal. But I believe the best way to do that is just create another damn vassal. And these nomads will be his little underlings under him. And we do have some degree of acceptance. So give it to a local Sogdian noble who will be of Manichean. Who would be of Manichean faith. And I'll give you all this land for you to govern. Might be a little too much land for you, but you can handle it. I mean, you seem nice. So you're definitely going to be Manichean. As do you too. Okay. What do you want? Gets a weak hook, favor me. If he wants to be on a council, like say, be a chancellor, I'm okay with it. So, fine. If he wants something else, then, like say, money, I'll give it to him. Who's the other taxpayer? Old Tangrists. Again, I'm very much willing, would love to go hunting somewhere. Just to increase the health. Stag sighting. Well, I'll be there. But the problem is, it costs too much. If you want the best success, and I really don't care about, prestige, so. When does it expire? Ah, damn it. It'll be gone by then. You know, since they're so busy with the tributary war, we could start another one. I mean, we're good and ready again. Let's keep at it. Put it here, in the middle of the Fergana Valley region. You're next. And then we'll take Samarkand, by the way of taking most of Sogdia. And then have to get you too. So that way I could be the overlord of most of parts of the traditionally Sogdian speaking areas. Oh, you know what I see? Look. The Seljuks have appeared. Yep, they've been around for 2 years now. So now you got another obstacle in your way. You're dealing with Seljuks, which they'll spread all around. Huh. Yeah, they were formerly nomadic. That's someone who's just as great as I am. In the combat-wise. If that day were to come, who knows what it might look like. What the hell? Oh, that's no good. In terms of land separation. But my aim is more towards them now. Holy wars don't cost you nothing, and neither does forced vassalization. So it's basically, we'll take your pick. But for me, I'd rather fight, I'd rather do holy wars each and every time. As a way of getting rid of them and install a Manichean vassal. Especially that are of local cultures. Because I would love to have cultural acceptance increase between us and the Sogdians. Because we're similar in terms of, you know, peoples of the Silk Road. And not to mention, that culture in particular is the one that gave us, you know, they're the ones that introduced Manichaeism to us. I fell asleep and dreamed pleasant dreams. Dreams that were happy and lifted my spirits and made me feel better about life. But then I woke up the next morning. Yeah, bring your allies. I ain't scared. You got nothing. We'll defeat whoever stands in the way. My daughter Sarandis just finished a lesson held by Kozo on the management of the treasury and the gold therein. Sarah do take it a lesson to heart to reinforce sense of justice. She's constantly talking about how everyone from the highest level, to the lowest scholar plays their part in the economy of the realm. Strong sense of justice will endear you to the people. Okay. They've lost the tributary war. But will that cancel out? And would that make the suzerain join the war as well? No. War continues. And we're ready. Move. And you know what? You might as well increase the size of the pikemen, so that you can afford it. Since it's been recently taken, the garrison size should be small enough where we can take it with ease. And same when we go to Panjakent. And in the meantime, usurp the title of Fergana and give it to her. Who is that man you married? Manichean. Okay. See? Almost less than 2 weeks. All too easy. I step out of my tent to see camp sprawls up before me. A squalid mass of humanity spilling from the slopes of several hills. Pennants and pennons of every color wave stiffly back and forth in the persistent wind. Braziers, smoke, and guttering flames light the scene with a flickering orange glow. The soldiers sit around holding tankards of mead, relaxes small talk and camaraderie. Smoke from their fires drifts and fills the air. The smell of food cooking on the spits by the bonfire grows stronger. The Lord Lieutenant approaches the voice siege and I gather my bodyguards head to the edge of the camp. Exode of Bujiket stands before me, a tattered glimmering, a pennant fluttering from the highest tower, its flames raging in the pre-dawn sky. In the fields between, the dead and dying lie heaped with grotesque mounds. The smell of rotting flesh hangs heavy in the air, hated with the fierce copper scent of blood. Giant wooden doors hang in twisted, jawed black frames. The windows of the tall stone keep are strewn like silvers of broken glass on the cobblestone street. And blood-blackened wreckage sits propped in the piles of banded doorways. Survivors huddle in the ruins of houses. Spirit and a prison. We got it. Installed new Manichean Sogdia vessels. So it didn't increase by much. So these newcomers, the Seljuks, are looking to expand that way as they plan to expand in all directions. Likely they want to take not just parts of this end of Transoxiana, but there as well. And who knows how long they'll continue on. But let's wait a moment. We're about to usurp the title. That's all it needs. Why don't we just ask for gold and then subsequently vassalize this neighbor down here, which I didn't realize. You know that. And oh dear. And you know, it's gonna go to them as well, so we're gonna have to fight those guys too. Because this may delay our idea of conquests to Samarkand as much as we have to take care of matters back home. Back in our, you know, behind. And yeah, you can have it as well. There's a lot of money that's to be had. We can use that to usurp the title right now. I'll use this wealth wisely, but it's mainly for land distribution. Usurp and give it to her. Fargana is yours. There you go. University student donates gold. Wow, that's nice. Welcome. As much as I would love to go hunting right now, but you know how much it's gonna cost. And inspection does wonders to the realm. But I'm more interested in hunting right now. Go up there and get it done. And I want you to keep in mind that there's too many of these damn guests. You guys don't need to come these suzerains and tributaries and such. We just want to reduce that number. Just vassals who like to hunt. So let's go to it. And if we're gonna fight another war, we're gonna have to deal with these guys there. Because you know what would happen if there was a succession? Half the entire northern half of the empire would become independent, because we'd be cut off from the rest. And look, you see, if we don't connect to the rest, the only remnants of our Khanate would be this strip of land here. The rest would go independent. That needs to be dealt with swiftly. Swiftly, I tell you. But I'm in activity already, so god dang it. So our conquests of Samarkand is going to have to be delayed. Not interested in the trinkets at this time. Well, meanwhile, keep up with the ransom. As we travel through the oasis of Yarkand, a hospice covered in beautiful Vamna art appears along the roadside. Travelers, you look weary. Our doors are open for the rest and care, physician offers a gentleman. Inside, the air is calm, but filled with a soothing aroma of herbs. Here, try my famed decoction of the orchid. It will invigorate your souls. You already have an excellent physician. So let me partake in that decoction. I'm good. He's one of the good ones, so I'm on a search party for him. I know an oasis nearby, so we have to turn around and go home. No, the one with the Yakand. We just left there. This complicates things, you know. I commend you, Toe. Because this is going to be late. Take your sweet time. And we got lost again. As we await the arrival of the rest of the guards, my servant could get started on preparations. Engage the team and check the highlands each day for signs acquired while establishing camp close to hunting grounds. I've checked my gear and horse many times. Won't be long now. Oh, and a large chunk of land would be going to Harang, which is part of that new Caramaster died of pneumonia. Take a... Yeah, we need to deal with this crisis. Like in case of the, you know, if I were to die, this entire northern half due to low line being cut off from the rest of the Khanate would cause huge problems. Like, we could save this, but could barely save all that. For future reference. Hunt doesn't begin until 5 months because this realm is huge, and people from all walks of life have to come here to hunt with me. Although there is a bit of an issue with this regarding, you know, fighting a war against them. Is the real objective is low line, right? But our neck of the woods here is just at the border with them. Yeah, that could present some issues. Now that I've realized the position that we're in. Also, the amount of money we make, that whenever I return from hunting, we should create a holy order. And look for potential allies, like Nagorno. Coming a bit ill. Amdo would be another good ally to have. My friend died. Side check. The Symbols part is a sunrise over the camp near Overcut. My many gameskeepers and flesh have been pouring over the area for tracks and fumes. The stout buck is definitely in the area, and the condition could hardly be better for hunting it. Let's hunt for antelope then. All good. Poachers here on the Shabanox Highland. They huddle together as I ride up on my guards, making a poor job of hiding the dead antelope. We do not do this. Please have mercy, glorious son. Their blades and wolves belly their words. Y'all seen me exit Bowman. I'll take the slight hit. Chances will improve over time, I believe. Away from the others, I came across a cottage housing one of the most beautiful people I've laid my eyes on. He invited me to stay and rest. Not surprised by how much I have in common with a simple peasant. Must you return to the hunt so soon, my lady? I never met a woman quite like you before. At this age, that would be utterly inappropriate. My huntsmen say they know the place the beast is covered, and the nearby water holes and grazings that the antelope frequents. Though it is by no means an easy thing to do, if we were to carefully creep up on the buck, we could perhaps catch it unawares of our bows. We proceed by stealth, because I actually want to bag him. Force is truly the mantle of the poor, but as the antelope flees a panic from foraging peasants, I feel my patience wear thin. Sure, there must be better things to do, and and picking roots and mushrooms. Generous donations should keep them away long enough. Since we make a lot of fortune here these days. 78% chance. There's something majestic about the way the antelope gazes across the landscape. Hidden in the leafy bush, I raise my bow. My son glances over my baguette at the crouched on our grass who does the same. Strike true. Maybe. Now let's make a combined effort. Now everyone, loose! I slowly take aim, the antelope cock its head in anticipation. Bowstring snap as a dozen arrows whisk toward the animal, slides towards snorts, pinned cush with shafts. It didn't stand a chance. Heeding the call of the wilds and adventure, and this outing had delivered a good and bad in abundance. There's nothing quite like the thrill of bringing down a mighty beast. Our director breaking up, carefully skinning the carcass with direction from the game masters. We placed the eager dogs, shared the spoils on the stretched hide before departing for camp and home. So we're now on Antelope Skull, so... Well, it said, I guess we'll see its majesty. Damn. Fell short. That requires to go hunting again. How does it compare to the other one? Well, there's room, actually. The skull of leaping antelope hunted by Sati in Hong Kong. It's actually preserved and attached to a plainly carved ash mount. Know your land, know your people. Gotta have that because of increased vassal opinion. Because I know I got a few of these. I want you to have a look at that. Subjects. You got one, it's appropriate. But you got plenty of minority vassals. Some of which don't particularly like you that much. Due to cultural differences mainly. But they'll respect me a bit more now. It's been snowing for the past few days, and the cold is unbearable. I look around and see that my entourage is struggling with it as well, so I decided to trawl on foot alongside them. After we walk through the snowstorm for another hour, Captain AirTech pulls me aside, shaking yelps. Please, my acquaintance, I cannot feel my ear anymore. And the closer at the ear, tip's covered in ice and a little bit swollen. I think it could get worse if I don't do anything. How do you burn a skull to warm it up? How does that work? How does that work? Huh. But as the Winter Soldier says, let's keep moving on. He ain't gonna kill ya. Builds character. Okay, we gotta deal with this. Because if I suddenly die, everything that we built would be for nothing. For the past 100 years, it would be all for nothing. If we don't get this connected to the rest of the motherland. Hey. I know you're a larger realm, but even then it would not be enough. But I don't think a war with them would matter as much if we can connect to the rest of this. So you're a lot closer. We can deal with you. Just to take Yarkand. We gotta take Yarkand first before we deal with all this. So move it back to Vamna. where we can get our men-at-arms at the ready immediately. And who's this? Army of the Exiles of Tengri. So, Yarkand first, Lolan later. Deal with Shagari first. This is a claimant war, folks. So, this will please him a little. Because he's a bit of an unruly bastard himself. As he's impatient, he's gluttonous, he's callous, he's irritable. You're a glory hound too, no belligerent. Okay. So let's do that. Get me my men-at-arms. Okay, we're here. Now, Tayakan. Take it, defeat the army. We connect it to the rest of the motherland. We just need to solve this issue before it gets any worse, because you see, it's not connected to the rest of the Khanate. If I were to die now, all of this will become independent. The only thing that will not go independent is this strip of land there. So we need to unscrew ourselves to, you know, get it done. Wherever he's going, we'll have him dealt with. Gained the most holy life from this. Last time I saw Nirmala, she was seriously getting rid of the yellow hats because yellow's an unlucky color for people of my birth. The time before. I accompanied her on a ridiculously long detour to avoid the sleeping black cat. It's unlucky, she said. I don't even want to remember the time she thought she had lost her lucky amulet. Or so I catch her throwing away my precious salt because it had been spilled. Feel my face is very thin. Nonsense! My husband is once again absent for chambers night falls. But this late, lost in thought very soon. Am I not to his satisfaction? Supervisor, or could you go on someone else's bed? For a man like him, of ace in our age, he would never disrespect the sanctity of our marriage. Why on earth would he want to do, you know, whatever he wants to do? I step out of my tent, huge camp sprawls out before me. A chaos of tents and smoke and a bustle of voices. A few banners flutter in the wind. Weary long-haired commanders sit at tables, trading gossip and tall tales, conferring comfort in private. The urgent whispers drifting on the breeze. My low retainer approaches and informs the sages I got him my bodyguards at the edge. The Dama of Yarkand started before me. The slaughter pen. In the fields between the dead and dying lie, in two long rows of soot stained and rigid. Bodies littered the scorched village. Flesh torn from bone by swords, trampled, solidifying in the muddy streets. Shocked survivors stumble this way and like lost souls. Rush up a cobbled street towards smoking carcass to their homes. The men look at me for direction. How do you two feel? Just give it limited looting. And imprison everyone you see. We have the objective now. Okay, this one's a little more 4th level, but that ain't gonna stop me. Sacred. And then we'll be at Skardu. And that'll be it. Or engage. Win one major battle and then we win the war. Since we have the objective. Yeah. And then after that war, let's form a holy order. We barely have the advantage, but our numbers will overwhelm them. My daughter came to me complaining about Buckcut bullying her. She's been hiding over the couch for chasing the other child. Oh, she's craving. Why not hide in your room instead? Don't like having craven to anyone. Right. Gotcha captured. Move on. To Gilgit. We just gotta hurry up and take Yarkand, then it'll be connected to the rest of the realm. The only possible exception is, you know, like you gotta get all this connected again at some point in the future. And there's another entity that wants a piece of land. Which comes from Parain. Which again is part of Zhangzhuang. Seljuks are intervening on someone else's war. Yeah, too many men, but we don't care. We can overwhelm them. As long as I'm in command. This other legend, see, most holy life. That's largely due to having a religious icon for a while. It's too bad I don't have time for forming legends. We just want to connect to the rest of the town basin. I exit my tent, siege council sprawls out before me. A maze of rough-hewn tents and canvas lean-tos and makeshift fences, and coils of rope and canvas mattresses and tents, all strewn over the ground in relatively even, sprawling flat. Patterns snap in places, held by crooked tree limbs. Smoke drifts on the wind. Throngs of men busy themselves among the tents and siege weaponry. The stench of dirt and sweat is thick in the dreary air, stinging my eyes. Smells mix up with a strong tang of urine and rancid odor of rotting wounds. The low retainer approaches towards the siege as I get out my bodyguard to the camp. A Dama of Gilgit, if that's correct pronunciation, stands before me, a wreckage of burning wood and broken stone. In the fields between, the dead and dying lie in agony, their faces twisted in pain. Little survives. The settlement is a shattered cadaver, gnawed on by 1,000 scavengers, on top of one another. Shocked survivors stumble among the ruins, with some arms raised to ward off us. Blind and uncomprehending. Loot it, because that's not going to be our territory that we're taking over. Accept your surrender. You're coming with me. Head to Sogdia. Almost over. Come on. $33 gold from taking that place. It was of value because of its development, economic buildings, and among other things. Oh, and there's a Silk Road trading post here. %, as the war score ticks up. You know, we might as well loot the capital too, because 25 gold. There you go. Oh, and we seized a big artifact here. Let's read that in a moment. But first, a sprawl of reds and browns and blues, of tents striped with ooze of sandy canvas, thousands of horses tied to crude pens and feeders, a giant of hayseed, and the fires of crack in his camp. Followers struck cauldrons of bubbling stew. Flags hang limply in the rain fogged air, whipped now and then by the wind. The work is endless. The earth is a morass of blood and bodies. The air is foul and musty beneath the canopy of tarps that cover the tents. The sweet scent of horses and sweat and leather intermingled with the mixtures of blood and dried shit that cake our boots and cloaks. While Lulu retained the torches for the siege of my better guns at the camp. The Dama of Sogdia stands for me, a disordered pile of rubble and debris. In the fields between, trees and flax are flattened, houses and barns reduced to kindling. Arching skeletal tree branches hang over the ruined walls, forming a tangled roof over the roughly cobbled streets. Grieving widows and orphan children wander the streets. Crows perch on the charred roofs. Loot the place and imprison everyone. That, my friends, is how we do it. We got Samarkand and Farouk on him, because this is the land you wanted, which Samarkand has been renamed Saka under his culture. Our culture, anyhow. But look what they've done to this place. It was corrupt from the start. But it's under your administration now, so take care of it. Stand down. We gotta take care of this little issue at some point. The war went on slightly longer than I would have liked, but let's have this episode end with creation of a holy order. There can never be too many warriors dedicated to defending the true faith. I will honor Adamas of Light by giving those who would serve home in arms. So a holy order of my faith will be founded. I'll become its patron. Select a non-Celtic capital barony as the order's headquarters. The Archegos will be pleased for me for this act. But not here. Put it over in Turpan, near Kocho, which is our old home. It'll cost you 500 gold and 1,000 piety. Let's do it. Grandmaster Convidi of our culture. And the Grandmaster is a dwarf, but he's a member of the Order. Grandmaster. Of the Army of Light. That's what it's called. The Army of Light. It gives a Maburizun. That is, that usually belongs to Arabic cultures. With the heavy infantry that's good against spearmen and other heavy infantry. That's excellent. And Takhans. Oh, you couldn't ask for anything better. Because this is also good against heavy infantry and other heavy cavalry. So, Army of Light, once given more land and soldiers with time, they'll be real killers. But I believe it could be, used alongside with other mercenaries I could be paired up with, because if I want to take Lowland back, I would prefer my main army to go after its capital for a quick conquest. While the ones for the real objectives, well, they're going to have to be taken back by the mercenary force and the newly formed Holy Order to do the rest. So that'll happen in the next episode, where we're going to have to, take some of this back. Take Lowland back. While this, on the other hand, I think we can manage without it. Because it's still connected barely by this strip of land. I can connect to the rest. This is more important. So yes, we saved our Khanate from breaking apart into, well, for the lack of a better term, in modern terms, save it from being balkanized. Because heaven forbid that would ever happen. Heaven forbid. We got a new artifact. A beautiful stick horse. But more importantly, we got a big court artifact. We're going to place it right here. Robes of the Buddha. In elegant reliquary containing a holy relic. Robes of the Buddha himself. Though kind of useless to us because we're not Buddhists anymore. But this is something that's good to have. After all, we Manicheans revere the Buddha about as much as Zoroaster and Jesus the Splendor. So, in the next episode, retake Lowland, and then resume our conquest of Sogdia. And then soon we'll be bordered with the Seljuks, who are, busy fighting one of the wars they're intervening with. Because we fear they might be someone that is of great challenge to us. Even though we haven't seen what number of troops they have, unless you want to send your spy master over, which we could do that, which we'll find out what size they have exactly in the next episode. So, I hope you people will look forward to the next one, because the next episode it'll be all about establishing the church in Samarkand. So we see you in the next one. But until then, so long for now.